Altering house where it was 76 degrees when I walked in yesterday.
It's warm.
When I got done with the radio show yesterday, I left the office and I went out to the living room. My mom had a blanket on.
What?
Well, I don't understand old people. I don't.
In my
It
experience,
was 102 in Columbus on Wednesday.
In my experience with old people, they usually like it cold.
I don't know. My parents, they've always kind of like kept it like warmer for my taste, but and especially given that like I'm a larger individual, I prefer the cold. I'm built for that weather,
Right?
More so than anything else. But yeah, it was absurd yesterday, but that went pretty well.
It was totally fine.
I don't want to do it more often than that one time, but if we need a fallback plan, at least I know that it's available.
That's exactly right.
But that went well. All right, I want to start the show with this, and it's mainly just my own curiosity because I had never heard this before. There's a podcast I was listening to, and two hosts were talking to each other, and one was telling the other, and I'll basically phrase it like this. He's like, "What do you call a slice of pizza that has no toppings?"
No toppings at all?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
like, does it have cheese on it?
Yes.
Cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or plain, I guess. If you were
cheese.
If you were sort of odd, you would say plain.
I would call it cheese.
Apparently, and I've checked with several other people that live out on the East Coast and specifically to the New York region, you call it regular.
I'll have to ask about that.
I was infuriated by this for reasons I can't explain. But it was like
send a text to my dad
in a tailspin because I just refuse to believe that there are people that go up to, like in New York, you go to the pizza shops that are like on the street and you're just getting a slice and
sure
you're just gonna get a slice of regular. Like that's what they would say.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. I guess I never really thought about it because I've done that before. And the thing about those places is like you gotta know. And you gotta like.
Oh yeah, they don't want you to take time.
Yeah, so you walk in there and I think I've said a slice of cheese before, and they give me what I want.
Right.
I don't think I've ever tried to do slice of regular.
Yeah, I just feel like it's because you hear enough regional stuff. We get into the soda pop, Coke debate all we want, but I have never heard regular before to describe a slice of cheese pizza. And
I'm texting my dad.
It feels odd. So if there's people on the text line that have done this or know this to be true, feel free to back it up. I was just and he was like he got like all annoyed by people that refer to it as cheese pizza.
Interesting.
He's just like, no, it's regular. You're just getting regular.
But it is cheese pizza.
Right.
He'd be willing to admit that, right?
I don't understand. Like, if you call it pepperoni, why wouldn't you call it cheese? Like that, you're just naming what's on it.
I haven't heard that before, and I'm kind of like a pizza snob East Coast guy.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Well, what is a place that you like in Omaha that's Brooklyn style, isn't it?
Brooklyn style
or New York style or whatever? Isn't Frank's or whatever?
Oh, Frank's, yeah, it's New York.
So if you went to Frank's, I mean, do you think that it says regular up on the board?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about
this. Feels like a mission for you now.
Okay.
So
I will. I'll be on the East Coast in a couple weeks, so I'll make sure to look a little bit more close.
Okay. I want to start the opening splash today, brought to you by the Pawnee Plunge. Sorry, I threw you a little bit. Normally I meander and then we find our way into it, but I jumped right into it. The opening splash.
I still don't.
The opening splash.
You're gonna have to give me like at least 15 seconds.
The opening splash. No, brought to you by the Pawnee Plunge in Columbus, the best water park in. Let's see, we've done state, we've done country. Let's go Galaxy today. There's our delayed splash off the very highest of the points. You get the sound right there. It was much louder yesterday. I don't know if it was.
No, it was louder yesterday. I bumped it up yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah,
I liked it. I like that. That was good. But
the opening, it could be louder again today.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Okay,
if we can get that going forward,
we can do that.
I mean, on a day like this, and it's just miserable outside. Everybody knows it. We don't have to dwell on it.
I wouldn't call it miserable. It's very hot and uncomfortable.
Yeah, not enjoyable, I guess.
Not enjoyable, but I did tell myself that I'm not going to complain about 100 degrees after the winter that we went through, and I will stand by it.
Interesting. I don't think I've made myself a similar remark.
I mean, you can't do anything at all when
True.
it's 0 degrees.
That is
outside.
100.
You can
100 right there.
You can at least go outside.
Yeah, no, you
not
were
for very long,
correct.
but you can go outside.
I mean, that's what New Orleans was. It was just suffocating heat. It's even hotter this week, so I feel like I timed it. I timed it well, but
Ubaldo sent us a picture of a gun pointed at the sun. Here, look. And I think Ubaldo works outside. So
yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
commend those people.
Yeah, it's tough.
If you see them, give them water, or have like a nice washcloth that's
Eric,
all damp for them.
Eric says he works outside. I mean, yeah, for the people who work outside, God
Brutal.
bless you. That's tough.
Absolutely brutal.
But
you have our utmost respect.
So people who work outside, tell me then, is it worse now or is it worse that February cold snap, or did you just get that time off?
Well, yeah, I would assume that if you're working outside, you're probably more.
But like, tell me which would be more painful.
Is that more seasonal? I guess.
Like
construction people weren't going to be working during the freezing cold weather.
But either way, tell me what you would rather do. Tell me what you would rather. That's the question.
I guess you're right. I'd rather handle this heat than whatever it was, the -30 that we had.
Corey said on the text line, when I'm in New York City, I ask for a regular slice. Cheese isn't a topping. You don't ask for pepperoni and cheese. I'll be in. Oh, that's fair.
So
you
this
don't
is
ask
his
for
explanation.
You don't ask for pepperoni and cheese. I'll be in New York City a couple weeks as well. Curter going to Angels Yankees on July 1st. I'll be in the city around that time actually. So, not to give away my location too much. I'll be a bit of a nomad. I'm gonna take a week off, not next week, but the week after. I'll be a bit of a nomad that week.
So we can play during the week. Where in the world is Happer San Diego?
And you could actually call me because I won't be aggressively under the influence during that time.
Yeah, we could do that. or we could just leave you alone.
You could.
Which, I mean, that seems like the better option.
That is an option. That is an option.
All right. So the opening splash brought to you by the Pawnee Plunge.
Do you want an answer on the outside-inside thing?
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you again.
No, you're good. I
Matt,
can say it a third time. It's just more advertising.
Axel Foley says they both suck, but at least in the winter you can add layers and you won't die of dehydration. Matt G says they're both evenly bad. Eric says you could put more clothes on. So that's 2 times we've heard that now. Brian says I've always found it easier to adjust to the heat than the cold. A summer in Pakistan will do that to a person. I've never spent a summer in Pakistan, but I'm sure it does.
What's the closest you've ever been to Pakistan?
I don't know. Like Phoenix, probably. Or is that the other way?
So the reason I asked is I don't actually know which coast. I would assume.
No, I guess it would be East.
I would assume East Coast.
Yeah,
but then you said
East.
Phoenix is like, well, maybe I'm the dum-dum here. And so, because you're the geography guy.
No, it would be East. So I guess by that, it would be like somewhere in
on the seaboard,
Connecticut.
Yeah. Connecticut. Okay. Does Connecticut jet out a little bit?
Yeah, some of it is further east than.
Have you been to Massachusetts? Isn't that further?
I don't think I have.
Okay.
Maybe I will be in a couple weeks. Okay. I'm breaking a lot of records.
Just keep dropping hints.
I'm an electrician. I'd way rather have cold. It's super cold only a few days, and it's hot for 3 months. Now that is true, but it's only this hot for a few days in a row.
I feel like it's never this hot this early. Like
I agree.
I always feel like we get this in August.
We went on a camping trip did the float trip down the Niobrara a couple years ago, and it was right around this time. It may have even been a couple weeks later. And we woke up one morning and it was 38 degrees.
Yeah.
And the float down the river was like 60 degrees. So I do think it's not even officially summer yet.
Yeah,
it's June 17th.
I was just going to make that same point, and then you beat me to it. But yeah, it's not even June 22nd. So this feels like it's a unusual heat wave for the timing of it. But we normally get a few days like this a year, sometimes a week. But I feel like most of the time it's somewhere between 90 and 100.
Dan from Twitter says I'm a roofer. The cold sucks, but the heat has almost killed me a few times. Okay. I don't work outside. I'm just a white collar, guy who sits in the cold studio all day.
If it wasn't for this show, there would be a longer stretch of my life in which I don't go outside.
Yeah.
That's not true because I'll take Slider for a walk, but for the most part, I avoid it. I guess actually from the walking perspective, I agree with the people who think it's easier with the cold because you just put more layers on.
Mm-hmm. That's what people were saying.
So
yeah.
I think I understand.
I did step out on my porch this morning and it was like 7:50 and it was like 88 degrees. I'm like, what? What? Like I was gonna go out and run the sprinkler or something. I was like, I can't do that. It's already gone, man. Like it's gonna just soak it all up.
Sun. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, help me out a little bit. Give me some time.
So, anyways, there was an event on Twitter yesterday.
Opening splash.
And I feel like we would be remiss if we didn't discuss it. And that was a baseball journalist just blowing open the doors to all of the.
We're doing that one.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to do.
I don't want to have the other conversation.
Okay.
I'm not interested in it.
I'm not really either, but
I have my own tweet about it. I regret doing that because I don't think that I was able to explain myself well enough. So I'm just done with it.
Okay. I was going to say, did you want to add anything to it now?
Not really. I mean, no, I don't. Like there's conversations that you can't have on Twitter, and that's one of them.
Totally.
100% cannot have it on Twitter anymore. I will do better myself to just avoid it.
Yeah, there are things that are layered and nuanced, and that is not exactly what Twitter is there for.
And if people have thoughts on it and they want to text in or call in, we can certainly talk about that if you want. But I feel like a lot of people, and myself included, after it went for more than what I expected, like the 10-15 minutes that Twitter usually does, into now we're in day 2 and it's still a thing.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are sort of over it and ready to move on. So I want to do that as well.
Let's move on then.
But you tweeted about this and I didn't notice
another stupid controversy. Yeah.
The first time I noticed the original tweet, and we're talking about the Ace of Spader, who is a baseball analyst that does a lot of statistician work.
I've followed him for quite some time, and he seemed like a pretty reputable voice. He tweets out a lot of good stats, and then not only that, he has some sourced, reporting type of stuff too, little nuggets that he would throw out there every once in a while too. He's a good baseball mind, that's for sure, and I've followed him on Twitter for a while.
And the reason I wanted to bring this up is you and I really haven't had a chance to talk about this on air or even off air with what's going on with Major League Baseball. And I figured today's kind of a little bit of a slower day. We will get into some recruiting. I want to talk about what's been happening with the crystal ball as it relates to Nebraska as well. We're going to get to that in a little bit. But I just wanted to at least briefly bring this up because I didn't notice that tweet thread until I came by the station yesterday to drop everything off. I got in my car and it with the regular Twitter, random stuff will pop up that you has nothing to do with either the people in your timeline or anything else.
Well, I thought you were going to say you flipped on and heard me talking about Royals Devil Magic.
But I did see a bunch of those tweets and I tried to avoid them because I don't want to relive Royals Devil's Magic as much as possible.
It's important in this conversation.
It's a piece of it. But this guy basically just decided, like Michael Douglas in the movie Falling Down, he had enough.
It was
and
really,
he was taking anything and everything down with him.
It was really theatrical too. He like the start of the tweet was, "I'm done with this." I just don't, because it was in response to the Tyler Glasnow stuff the other day about him saying he got hurt because they took away the substance, that you can use on your hands and whatever from the memo from the MLB. And he was like, all right, I've seen enough people get hurt by this and I'm just done. And I gotta let all this out. And basically he goes on to tweet a whole bunch of data points. Basically,
they weren't data points. They were basically they were allegations or they were anecdotal references from people that were on the teams or new people involved with the teams.
Yeah.
Which is fine. And some of that actually matters. Like anecdotal references are what clued in the reporters to go into the Astros scandal, which then they got hard facts to back that up. And it wasn't a Twitter thread. It was a giant story in The Athletic. And so it was just bizarre because like he implicates a number of different organizations. It starts with the Royals, in which
He
one
all
of
he
his,
said about the Royals was
they had an analytics department.
they had an
and
analytics
video,
department and video department, and they had it near their dugout.
and that was okay.
And then the last sentence was like, how they used it, I don't know.
Right. Which
it's like, I thought you were going to let it go, man.
Yeah.
Like, if you got this information, go ahead, throw it out there. Like, whatever you got.
the best one was about how the Metrodome would open up the doors, which if you've ever been in the Metrodome,
it's true.
You get blown out of the building when you're leaving because there's just so much air.
It's a suction. The roof has to stay out.
Right. And so apparently, like when the Twins were hitting, they would open the doors towards the outfield to try to draw the air to help propel the ball.
Incredible.
What were some of the he kept tweeting about
Aaron
Jose
Judge,
Altuve's and Aaron Judge's road home splits.
Yeah. So basically that they had cameras at their home parks and then used their home road splits that were seemingly very, normal, considering Aaron Judge's home park is Yankee Stadium, and it's routinely known as the best park for hitters in baseball.
There was a guy apparently hiding in the bushes in not Globe Life, but Ballpark in Arlington.
Yeah,
who would do something that Adrian Beltre, Hall of Famer Adrian Beltre,
he would like take his shirt off and whip it around his head. Like Petey Pablo. That's what he said. That's what he said. He would take his beater off and wave it around his head, and that's when Adrian Beltre knew when to swing.
Which again, like I don't know what anyone can do with these allegations. The larger point to me is that Major League Baseball has a giant trust issue with the public that it has earned completely, like utterly completely, by the entire Astros scandal, by things that happened before that, by poor representation to the public through Rob Manfred and through Tony Clark as the director or the person of the Players Association. And these kinds of things only hurt your sport, which it's been a very bad year for baseball. I mean, they have a ton of high profile injuries. Now you're dealing with all of these pitchers where you more or less said Major League Baseball come out and be like, well, we allowed this to go on for however many years, but now we're cracking down. And it's like, you have guys that play baseball outside, can't even use sunscreen anymore. And, wow, they were using it basically to get a grip on the ball. They've changed the ball multiple times in three. Like,
Did you hear what Pete Alonso's allegation was? He basically was asked, and I don't know how exactly it came up, but he was asked by a reporter whether like the reporter had heard something that they were changing the baseballs based on free agent classes, and Pete Alonso said that's a fact, that's definitely happening. And he explained, like, okay, so the juice balls happened in a year when there was a big free agent pitching class coming up. And for those guys to get less money, and now they've de-juiced the balls, and now there's a big hitting class coming up. Apparently, Pete Alonso said, "quote That's a fact," which I thought seemed strong.
Yeah, look, and I think that we're seeing a ton of disgust from the players because it's like they don't need to be guinea pigs in an experiment that is their livelihood.
Right?
Like they need a usable baseball. And either for MLB to come up with some sort of solution that is accepted by everyone, that pitchers can feel comfortable using to get a better grip on the ball, and that batters don't feel like provide an unfair advantage in the same way that these like Spider Tech and all these other things that had been used. But what bothers me is it's just like this has been around for a while, and you have in your rules like you can't use these substances. You could have gone after the players that were initially using them, nip this in the bud before it became more widespread.
Just like the Astros thing.
Exactly. They weren't the only team to do it.
Right.
But they were the team that A, got caught, B, people went on the record, C, won a World Series, and D, did it way more maliciously than seemingly anyone's other allegations that have come
and people straight up didn't like them too, so they were willing to talk about
it. And then they are the spearheaders of the Spider Tech thing. I mean, Justin Verlander at the age of 37 goes to Houston, a guy who's never had pinpoint control all of a sudden isn't walking anyone.
Mm-hmm.
His walks are reduced by the rate of 4. Like, that's insane. Like, he's walking 4 less batters per 9 innings. That's hard to do. Like, at 37, and it's all filed under the Astros analytics department is so amazing. It's just like, but now you just have this trust issue.
Well, this is what me and Robbie were talking about the other day. This is the only thing we talk about with baseball anymore.
And it sucks.
This is the only thing we talk about with baseball.
Because we don't talk about Fernando Tatis, who's amazing.
Nope.
He just signed an enormous deal.
The only thing we talk about is controversies. Stuff like this, stuff like the Astros thing, Spider Tack, whatever it is. Tommy John, injuries, and unwritten rules.
Yeah.
That's all we talk about in baseball anymore. And it's embarrassing. Like, it's not fun.
Well, and for two guys that love the sport, watch a lot of the sport, and we get to see Vladimir Guerrero is having a monster breakout year, the son of a Hall of Fame. This should be talked about a lot, and it's just not. It's just ignored because it's either everyone is hurt, which is very concerning, and I also wonder if there isn't some concern. I don't follow the NBA that much. Was there a rash of injuries?
There has been.
Coming off of a shortened season. Baseball, they didn't get their normal run-up that you would have expected when they started those 60 games after having all that off time to get there. It makes me almost wonder with football, they had a more normal year. Theoretically, there shouldn't be a rash of injuries in the same way. But
I don't know.
It's just, I don't know. It's just frustrating because I just don't like where this is headed.
No.
And I don't know what stops it. And a lot of it is just burying their head in the sand and then popping up when they have to, and then either massively overcorrecting or barely doing anything.
It's the only thing we talk about anymore with baseball. It's super disappointing, and it's not it's not good for the game. That's for sure. But on the other hand, maybe we wouldn't be talking about it at all if this stuff wouldn't be. So I have no idea. But it's dumb. It's all dumb.
All right, well, let's adjust from Major League Baseball to the CWS. We're going to take a break. We'll have Alan Bell come on. He will give us some gambling advice for the CWS. We'll get some gambling advice for the U.S. Open. I know that it's underway right now, but I kind of want to know what his thoughts are for how you might approach after the tournament already starts, trying to get the best value in a round. We'll see if there's any football futures he likes. And, because it's Alan Bell, we're going to get weird at some point. Fast food will be discussed, maybe some more dice throwing. Who knows? But that's next here on the Recruiting Hour.
You're listening to the Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Early break with Sip and Jake.
So the life motto that I have established for myself is this: make friends with people who have boats. That is the life motto. Some might call it mooching, some might call it sad. I don't care. As long as you're entertaining, you provide the beer, you provide some food. Why is that such a bad model? People on boats are always wanting people to come out and have fun with them.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning.
Summertime is here and the temperature is rising. Beat the heat at the Pawnee Plunge Water Park in Columbus all summer long. Pawnee Plunge features a full day of fun for the whole family, including the Flow Ride, the only one in Nebraska. A large swimming pool, diving boards, a lazy river, climbing wall, and of course, massive water slides. It's a great place for parties or a great spot to lounge around all day long. Book your party by calling 402-562-4269. Come splash and play the Pawnee Plunge Way in Columbus from May 31st through August 8th.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Incredible heat on the way here for our Thursday. We'll top out near 105 this afternoon. South-southwest winds at 10 to 15. A few clouds moving through tonight. A slight chance of showers and storms. Low dropping down to around 71. Technically cooler, still hot though tomorrow with a high of 97. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Where can you get a straightforward loan for a new set of wheels? Liberty First. Liberty First Credit Union looks at things differently. No hidden charges or early prepayment penalties and rates as low as 1.98% APR. Talk to a lender who's here for people, not for profits. People like you. Liberty First Credit Union. Thinking with purpose. Rates may vary depending on year and miles. Subject to credit approval. Not available for current LFCU loans. See Liberty First Credit Union for details.
At Gaina Trucking, you can make a better income, a better career, and a better life. Gaina Trucking and Excavating is now hiring Class A and B CDL drivers. Careers include amazing benefits with a 401k, healthcare, paid vacations, annual raises, and so much more. 40-hour work weeks guaranteed year-round. To be a part of this amazing career opportunity, apply online at GainaTrucking.com. Don't miss our team culture, benefits, and a career that will give you a better life. Be better at Gaina Trucking and Excavating.
Mike Schaefer here with 5-star childcare provider Lee Beecher from Bubbles and Blocks. Let's start with what makes Bubbles and Blocks special.
We have 3 beautiful locations in Lincoln that provide the safety, security, and reliability you need while also bringing a family feel to each classroom at every location.
I also hear some congratulations are in order.
Thank you. Yes, we just won the Lincoln Choice Award for Best Daycare and Preschool for the 3rd year in a row.
What should people do if they want to join the Bubbles and Blocks family?
Call to set up a tour to enroll your child today, or you can visit bubblesandblocks.com to apply to join our team.
Get your grill on at Schaefer's, featuring Traeger and Komodo Joe grills. Whether you're grilling, smoking, or slow cooking, Schaefer's has a grilling solution for you. Plus, with any grill purchase, they offer free grill assembly, so you can start to enjoy your new grilling experience right when you get home. And Schaefer's has a great selection of Traeger wood pellets, spices, and accessories on hand. Get your grill on in Bolt's Barbecue Pit inside Schaefer's, 48th and R, Lincoln.
Welcome to Friendly Neighbors. Welcome to maintenance-free living. Welcome to Carriage Glen. Welcome home. It's everything you'd want in an active 55-plus rental community right here in Lincoln. Spacious floor plans, numerous amenities, beautiful surroundings near Holmes Lake, and much more. Plus, with Carriage Glen's current move-in special, you can save thousands if you act now. Carriage Glen invites you to take a personal tour or visit them online at carriageglenoflincoln.com. Discover the place you'll love to call home.
Now's the time to schedule your air conditioner check with Bryant. Make sure it's ready to keep you cool and comfortable when you need it most. Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. Call 467-1111.
Back to the Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer. Presented by Bubbles and Blocks. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the Recruiting Hour. Mike Schaefer, Connor Happer here on 93.7 The Ticket. And on the line, joining us to talk a little CWS, a little U.S. Open, whatever else is on his mind, Alan Bell from Nashville and Sportsline. Alan, what's going on?
What's up, bud? Y'all doing all right?
I think we're doing pretty well.
Fantastic.
We're both curious. Are you making the trek with your volunteers here this weekend?
I'm trying. It's getting a little late. That whole we don't really want the media to come. That's kind of been a little bit of a problem.
Not cool.
Yeah, I know. Like I get it. I also don't get it. I hate it. But yeah, it's been a little bit of a problem, especially because CBS is so intertwined with the NCAA. They really don't want to upset anybody. So yeah, we're still working on that.
All right. Well, hopefully we hear of some potential travel plans for you. Happer said that if you come out, you need to try a Runza, which I believe you've talked about in the
we've
past.
discussed this. Yeah, there would be things on the list.
So
okay, so yeah, that is way up on the list. So we have talked about this. I've never had one. I've never seen one live in person. I've seen them on Twitter. They look amazing. Like it just looks amazing.
I don't want to get your hopes up too much.
I'm worried. Amazing is not a word. Like, and Runza's fine. Like, fine is a word.
They're
I would
good.
use.
It's just so much different from any other fast food that you're ever going to find. That's why you have to try it.
I almost want to.
And look, I'm with you. Like, I totally understand if, like, not overselling something. Buddy, trust me, it's food. Like, it is. You're not overselling anything. I bet it's fantastic. The place looks phenomenal.
Have you ever heard of chili and cinnamon rolls?
No.
That's another thing you could get at Runza, which is
I'm sure he's heard of chili and cinnamon rolls,
but not as
as a thing,
not as a combo.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a thing that people do here.
That's another Runza thing.
You know what? Sometimes, man, hey, you got to go for a nice little a little dessert with a little spice on it, man.
Okay. Yeah. So you know that Alan would try
Yeah.
it. So
Alan's just in.
that's why we're here.
Oh yeah.
He's in. All right, so let's dive into the CWS a little bit. And before we get into the odds, Happer and I have kind of talked about this a little bit. And when you're here locally, like we are, you sort of notice the city will adopt random teams. It's LSU if they're in. It's occasionally been Arkansas, though that one would have been kind of interesting this year.
I'm gonna change.
And then a lot of times it's sort of these Cinderella teams. I mean, Coastal Carolina before they struck big, that was a very popular team for Omaha to get behind. Stony Brook, I know in years past. You just have these random teams make random runs. Fresno State won a title coming out as a 4th seed one time. When you look at the field, though, it feels like a lot of the favorites and just sort of the known quantities made it for the CWS this year. If you had to guess, like, where do you kind of see the popularity or the popular team in this group right now?
Yeah, so that's a great question, right? So if you take a look at like off of that, right, looking at kind of the underdog, the Cinderella type, like I think you're probably looking at like Arizona because don't get me wrong, like they've got great odds to win it. They're a fantastic baseball team, but they're a lot of fun, and obviously it's a storied program for sure, but just the way that they play, the way that they hit. I mean, there's a reason why they opened up as favorites against Vanderbilt on Saturday. And let me say this, Vanderbilt's been to the College World Series. This is their 5th time. They've never once lost an opening game, ever, right? Like, so, I mean, for Arizona to be favored, like, that shows you how good of a team that they are. I'll also say this, Tennessee, like, if you could get with the heel part of it, like if anybody out there were like a wrestling fan and you kind of like Stone Cold Steve Ott, like, that's who this team is. So, like, if you kind of understand where they're coming from and understand that they're a fan base, that football has been 25 years of just getting kicked in the teeth, right? So, like, this is all that they have. Like, so they're all fired up. You're going to see a lot of orange out there. I guarantee you that. But this team can mash. They can hit. They bat flip. They get excited. The fans are loud. Like, I'm telling you, they're the most fun team to get behind. And if they beat Virginia that first game, look out. Like, this team can go. They get hot. They're either going to beat you like 17-3 or they're going to lose 2-0. Like, that's how this team is. So, yeah, and look out for NC State, too. NC State's a phenomenal baseball team. They're much better than people think. I mean, gosh, they just put Arkansas out, right? So, yeah, you got some opportunities there.
So you're saying if the left field bleacher side just tosses a couple cold ones to the left fielder, he's going to crack them open and drink them in left field? Is that like Stone Cold style?
Oh, you could do that. You could throw them to the Tennessee's baseball coach.
Yeah.
Their manager, Vitello, would start cracking them down, right? I'm telling you. Like, this team, their coach is young. This team is young. They're wild. Like, they're a lot of fun, man. Like,
I was thinking
if they win that game, like, look out, because there's going to be a ton of orange out there. I guarantee you that. And they'll get loud. Yeah, it's going to be exciting, man.
I was thinking that may be the team that Omaha ends up adopting.
The corollary with Nebraska is strong.
It's a mix, right? The corollary with Nebraska, there's that, and they haven't been here in more than a decade now, right? So
the last time they were there is the last time Nebraska was.
Yeah, 2005. And let me say this: when I say that, like, they're exciting, like, they're not jerks. Like, they're not like trash talking anybody. You won't see any of that at all. Half the kids talk about how they read the Bible before the games, like, honestly. But when they get on the field, like, they love to just mash bombs, get excited, bat flip. Like, they're a fun team, man. I'm telling you, you guys are really enjoying them.
How does the Tennessee Vandy dynamic go when they both make the trip in the same World Series?
Yeah, it's pure hatred. No matter what these teams do, they absolutely hate each other. Because think about it. You've got a state. It's a pretty large state in Tennessee. It's pretty wide. And you've got orange everywhere, right? Oh, you got a ton of orange in Nashville. Tennessee fans have been taking over Vandy Stadium, in football for 50 years, right? But now Vanderbilt's been pretty good in baseball. They've been talking back, to Tennessee fans, and rightfully so. So, you don't have as large of a fan base, but Vandy's a little bit smarter. They could come up with some better one-liners. So you've got, if this ends up a Vandy-Tennessee national championship, if it ends up that way, I assure you this, a national audience might not get it at first. That first pitch goes, you will see it'll be a nuclear war. I assure you on that.
That's awesome.
I now have a rooting interest.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
I just want pandemonium from the state of
Trust me,
Tennessee.
this is 2 hours of pure hatred. I assure you on that.
It's exciting.
I don't need any more selling than
Yeah.
just that. Sign me up. The other 6 teams can go home now, play a best of 17.
Sports hate is
Yeah.
great. We love any taste of sports hate that we can get. I'm all on board for.
So,
Yeah,
Alan,
I assure you, you'll get all you can handle and more. Like these 2 fan bases legitimately hate each other.
when you size it up and you're looking at trying to make some money, which is what the great folks at Sportsline do, they look to make money for the people. Do you look at this where you want to dive in on a team before the tournament starts with future value, or do you think it's smarter to play it out game by game and try to find value that way?
Well, I think that, I think both. All right. So first you look at it and you say, okay, I could throw Vanderbilt at plus 230. So if I put $100 on Vanderbilt, essentially I could grab another team at $100 and kind of, now I've got 2. So either way, if one of those 2 teams wins, I'm solid. Now it's hard to do, you're picking out of 8, but that's kind of how I look at it. I think Vanderbilt is a phenomenal bet. They've got not only the best pitcher in the country, they've got the second best pitcher in the country who might be better than the first one. You look at TD Ameritrade, it's a big park. It's a pitcher's play. And they've got legitimately, I'm telling you, Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter. Kumar Rocker, obviously he won, the title with Vanderbilt 2019. He was their ace as a freshman. Jack Leiter, this kid, he throws 99 just, for fun. Like this kid throws pure gasoline. So Vanderbilt is a good bet to play on this thing all the way throughout. But yeah, I mean, if you were betting futures, Vanderbilt and Texas is a good play. Vanderbilt, Arizona is a good play, even though, they play each other. There's a lot of good teams. Mississippi State is a phenomenal baseball team. I think that any of these 8 teams honestly can win it. But yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. I'd play both, but then I'd play games singularly. And again, you can get Vanderbilt on the run line plus 1.5. Yeah, dude. Like I'm telling you, Kumar Rocker's phenomenal.
Yeah.
This pitcher's unbelievable.
Is there value to be found? Because a lot of these teams play in smaller parks than what they generally find when they get to TD Ameritrade. And so offense usually goes down in the CWS. Is there value to be found in the totals in these games?
Yep, 100%. And I did the numbers on this, and let me kick it over to you real quick. Here's exactly what you're looking at. So I took it the last 4 years, okay, of the College World Series. Obviously, we didn't have one in 2020, but just the last 4 times that we had it, all right? In those opening games, all right, so you've obviously had 4 opening games each year. The average total amount of runs scored is 7.1, but understand this. All 4 seasons of opening games, one team got shut out. And 3 of those 4 seasons, a game ended 1-0. All right, the other one was 3-0.
Wow.
So, absolutely, yes, I think that you're spot on that. I think that's a problem that Tennessee is going to have to deal with because they hit bombs, and they love to do it. But that park doesn't give away too many of them. Like, you're going to have to base hit. You're going to have to do some things. So, if you're looking at, again, the Vanderbilt Arizona game, the total's 11.5. Like, you look at the Super Regional, when Vanderbilt played ECU, they won Friday night 2-0, and they won Saturday 4-1. Like, Vanderbilt games don't get very high. I'm surprised that it's 11.5. To be completely honest with you, Tennessee's only at 9. So, yeah, I would look to the unders pretty quickly, especially those opening games. You can get some nice ones because you got everybody's ace.
Switching gears over here, it's the U.S. Open this weekend. They're already underway here. And one of the things that I've not been able to figure out how to do is how are you, or do you, and maybe you don't, do you try to gamble on a tournament as it's already in progress? Or do you feel more comfortable? So how do you search and find the plays to look for in that situation?
Yeah. So, I think it's understanding, of who you're looking at, where their odds are, because it's golf. It's a lot like NASCAR. Like, you're going to get good odds, irregardless all the way, up until Sunday. So it's just kind of understanding and getting a feel of watching these guys on Thursday, even watching on Friday. It's going to play some bets, on Saturday, of understanding who's hitting the ball well. I'll tell you one big thing in golf in terms of betting is you got guys who are really good in, say, February to April, and you've got summer guys who are really good in June, through August, and then you've got guys who are good in the fall who close well. Like, temperature absolutely does matter. So, take a look at kind of, statistics for guys like that, who tend to play well, in the middle of the year. Phil Mickelson's a guy who plays very well, which I wouldn't think so at all. I figured that, somebody a little bit older, would like it a little cooler. But yeah, I mean, he's a good summer mid-tier player. But yeah, man, like, again, it's like betting on NASCAR. Like, you're going to place a few bets, kind of what we were talking about with, playing Vandy and say Texas. You kind of hedge yourself, your absolute payout might not be as big, but you give yourself way more outs because the odds allow you to do so.
We've got football schedules out. We've got odds out for some of the early weeks. Have you started to make any early bets, like a week 1, week 2, any early line bets, or are you still kind of waiting to see what happens with some of these teams, either college or NFL?
Yeah, so I absolutely have. So, I mean, I played some, I think we talked about it again, the Chiefs at 12, 17-game season, which is crazy to me. Like, you could give them 5 losses and I still push. Like, I think that's phenomenal futures play right there. But yeah, like, if you look at week 1, so our opening game, Dallas at Tampa, okay? Those are generally very high-scoring games. And you're looking at a total, I believe, 51.5. This is probably a 58, 59-point score. And again, here's the thing. Understand that, like, people always think that, defense is ahead of the offense. Like, that's kind of the old thought process. No, it's not. Like, last year in the NFL, week 1, the last 5 years have set massive records in terms. And the reason being is this, is that all summer, offense can practice against nobody. They can run 7-on-7s. They're fine. They don't need anybody. Defense needs somebody to practice against, right? So they generally don't have the same opportunities. So scoring is a really nice, opportunity in week 1. I like them. I like the Falcons, -3.5 at home against the Eagles, because I think the Eagles are going to be a complete mess, at least just to start the season. I like that one. I also like Chiefs again, to go back to them. They're -6 at home against the Browns. 1, I think the Chiefs show out, especially after that Super Bowl loss. And 2, what if the Browns? I think they haven't won an opening game in like 13 or 14 years. Like, it's some crazy number like that. So yeah, I like those as well. I think the Falcons is the best play though, -3.5, because I think that they'll thoroughly beat down Philadelphia. And knowing Arthur Smith, their new head coach, who is the OC here in Nashville, he likes to pour it on a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if he puts a little extra juice on that first game.
We'll finish up with a little NBA. Just had 3 game 5s. We've got 3 series where it's 3-2. Do you see any value in any of those individual games? Any team you expect to close it out? Anything in that sense?
So I'll say this tonight. I think, if you're looking at like situational betting, I think you're in a really good spot tonight with Milwaukee, it being a game 6. Obviously, Brooklyn has 2 games to kind of play with. Milwaukee, their backs are against the wall. The spread's a little high. I might take that, the Bucks money line, parlay that with the Islanders +1.5 tonight. But again, you look at Brooklyn and everything that they did to win that game and KD going off. I wouldn't be surprised if they're a little fatigued, a little tired, also knowing that they've got a game 7 that they can get back at home and win that thing. So I think that you're sitting in a really nice place for Milwaukee, just money line to win the game tonight. And then you look at, tomorrow night, Friday, and you've got the 76ers and the Hawks again. You're going to get the Hawks at a plus number, +3. I think they win that game outright. I think that they put I think they put Philadelphia down. So
wow.
Yeah, I think you got 2 good plays. What do you think?
I may have sprinkled a little bit on some Harden prop unders tonight. I just don't think that I don't think they really run him out there.
You shouldn't push it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah, I think it's a perfect situational play to where they don't. And they say, you know what, we've got a game 7 to play with. Let's make sure that he's good for that one. I 1,000% agree with you. We're on the exact same wavelength on that.
I'm still amazed we're in a world in which Trae Young is going to take the Hawks to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Awesome.
That's
great.
He's been so good. He's been so good. It's a blast. All right, Alan, we hope we get to see you out here in Nebraska. Hit us up if you do make the trip.
Yeah.
If not, I'm sure we'll find another way. We are going to get Alan Bell to eat a runza. I don't care if we have to GoFundMe it. If someone has to drive it from the southeast corner of Nebraska to Nashville, we will make it happen. We'll catch up with you again soon. Take care.
I love it, man. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Alan Bell from Sportsline. Be sure to check out Sportsline. They have deals running all the time. Both Happer and I use them.
Yeah.
Quite frequently.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I listened to their
Early Edge.
I listen to Early Edge every day, and he's going on their live stream this afternoon.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
should ask him to get a shout out in there or something like that. It would have felt like a celebrity.
My boy's back in Nebraska.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah. Alan Bell, good people. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. I want to talk about some crystal ball predictions that have been made in Nebraska's favor. Guys that have a crystal ball prediction already in Nebraska's favor. We'll talk about the visit weekend. We'll talk about the visit weekend that was as well. We haven't really dove into who Nebraska had last weekend when I was gone. All that more to finish up the recruiting hour next.
You're listening to the Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I don't know about you guys, but I have been getting back out and hitting different restaurants, hitting different places, and I could not be more excited to get back to Bearshin in Benson, one of the best beer gardens around. The weather's starting to get good, and coinciding with that, they are going back to their full food menu. We're talking the burgers, the Johnny Hammer Pants sandwich, the pretzels, the fries, the salads, if you're one of those people. They got all of it. And they are now open Tuesday through Sunday. That allows you to get over to Bearshin, check out the food, the beer, hang out in the beer garden. You can get that $7 big cheese double Wagyu burger special on Tuesdays. Also, happy hour, 3 to 6, Tuesday through Friday. Don't miss it. Plus, if you're a soccer fan, it's the place to be in Benson.
Welcome to Friendly Neighbors. Welcome to maintenance-free living. Welcome to Carriage Glen. Welcome home. It's everything you'd want in an active 55-plus rental community right here in Lincoln. Spacious floor plans, numerous amenities, beautiful surroundings near Holmes Lake, and much more. Plus, with Carriage Glen's current move-in special, you can save thousands if you act now. Carriage Glen invites you to take a personal tour or visit them online at carriageglenoflincoln.com. Discover the place you'll love to call home. Hey guys, it's Tapper. Join me and Robbie this Friday at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese for the drive from 3 to 6. Check out their huge variety of meats and take some home to grill for the weekend. That's Friday from 3 to 6 at the Mercado, just north of 84th and Havelock.
Get your grill on at Schaefer's, featuring Traeger and Komodo Joe grills. Whether you're grilling, smoking, or slow cooking, Schaefer's has a grilling solution for you. Plus, with any grill purchase, they offer free grill assembly, so you can start to enjoy your new grilling experience right when you get home. And Schaefer's has a great selection of Traeger wood pellets, spices, and accessories on hand. Get your grill on in Bolt's Barbecue Pit inside Schaefer's, 48th and R, Lincoln.
Allo provides so much more. Safer screen time, more of the channels you love, and real peace of mind. Take it from Richard in Lincoln, who gets more with Allo.
The internet is twice as fast as competitors, and the whole package is saving me $60 per month. As a retired veteran, this extra money is fantastic.
So switch to Allo today. Go to allofiber.com/providing more.
Don't you feel so free out here on the lake?
Not as free as this soda.
Where'd you get free soda?
Casey's. Buy 4 fountain drinks, 5th one's free.
I love free.
Bought this jerky, got this free donut too. And these chips could win me a free Lee Brice concert here in our town.
With Casey's Summer of Freedom sweepstakes, the more you buy, the more you can win, including a free Lee Brice concert for your town. Casey's, here for good. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. For official rules, visit Casey's.com.
Baseball's back, Lincoln, and that means Fireworks Fridays are too. Come out to Haymarket Park for Friday home games to celebrate the Lincoln Salt Dogs' 20th season with baseball, giveaways, and of course, post-game fireworks. We're glad to have you back in the stands. Watch us light up the sky for our celebration season. Get your tickets to the best night out in Lincoln at saltdogs.com.
Get in, get out, and get your hands on a great career. Did you know Southeast Community College offers short-term training in almost 20 programs of study? That means you can get your certificate at SCC and get right to work without spending years in school. You can train at one of our 3 campus locations in Beatrice, Lincoln, or Milford, or our 6 learning centers across Southeast Nebraska. If you want to find your next step, visit southeast.edu/academics. SCC, your path to possible.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Where can you get a straightforward loan for a new set of wheels? Liberty First. Liberty First Credit Union looks at things differently. No hidden charges or early prepayment penalties and rates as low as 1.98% APR. Talk to a lender who's here for people, not for profits. People like you. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Rates may vary depending on year and miles. Subject to credit approval. Not available for current LFCU loans. See Liberty First Credit Union for details.
Back to the Recruiting Hour with Mike Schaefer and Connor Happer. Presented by Bubbles and Blocks. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back one final time here on the Recruiting Hour. Mike Schaefer, Connor Happer, talking to you today on a Thursday. What is Kevin Meyer joining you here? You got Thursday?
Yes.
Very nice. A text bag.
Yes.
What else is on the mind of the drive today?
We will dive into the drama.
Well, that's good. That gives people the chance to get into the drama.
My question is this, and you don't have to address it, but this is going to be the question. We're going to do this probably start the show. Why is this program such a magnet for stupid stuff?
Oh, I have thoughts, but I will not.
You could stay and just do it on my show if you want to.
That's tempting.
You're free to.
I will decide.
Consider.
I mean, I definitely have thoughts. I've never lacked for thoughts in my life, but let's just.
Can we bottle them up? We will find out in a minute.
I can bottle them up. The problem is if I bottle them up and then I explode, that's no good either. But let's finish this up. I mentioned I wanted to talk about this. There are crystal ball predictions in for several of Nebraska's targets for 2022, including a couple guys coming in this weekend. We'll just run through some of these names. Jake Applegate, not a big surprise here. Lincoln Southeast athlete, is coming in this weekend for an official visit. He has several crystal ball predictions. I think I made one during the show yesterday because I realized I had not done that yet. Or not yesterday, it was Wednesday. No, yesterday it was Wednesday. Tuesday show. So there's a prediction in for Jake Applegate. James Mons, who we've talked about a lot, defensive back from Florida. Uncle is Wander Mons. He's got all sorts of interests throughout the country. He's looking at several Big Ten schools. Went to Indiana last weekend, Nebraska this weekend, Wisconsin the weekend after that. I have the one crystal ball in for James Mons for Nebraska at this time. The only other prediction in for him is for, I believe, Michigan State, and I don't think they're in the picture anymore, so that is a good sign in that regard. Today, there has been a run of crystal balls, and this could prompt a somewhat interesting decision for Nebraska. Grant Page, the wide receiver athlete from Boulder, Colorado, was just out here last weekend. One of the two wide receivers Nebraska's looking at. We've talked on this show several times. At one point in time, Nebraska seemed like they were only going to take one more wide receiver, and I had felt like Sampson was the higher of the two on the board. It now sort of seems like the door could be open to taking both. We'll see how that plays out. Landon Sampson, of course, also on this list of people with crystal ball predictions, is waiting to see what happens with Ohio State. He is he's down to Nebraska and Ohio State, and if Ohio State doesn't offer, well, then it seems like it would be Nebraska, which then makes me think that they might just take both of these guys. So Landon Sampson, wide receiver from South Lake Carroll, he was up the first weekend. And then Valen Erickson, offensive lineman, visited the first weekend as well. And he does not have any other visits scheduled. I'm actually was anticipating he might commit this week with the commitments that we've seen from Chase Androff, Richard Torres as well. I know from talking to Ernest Hausman, he felt like there was some guys in that first weekend that it seemed like it was not a matter of if, but when they were going to commit. So we'll see if it plays out in that fashion. But Valen Erickson, 6'6", 280-pound offensive lineman from St. Rita High School in Chicago. So of that group, Happer, who interests you? Jake Applegate, James Mons, Grant Page, Landon Sampson, Valen Erickson. Which one would be the biggest commitment, I guess?
Oh, the biggest. Maybe Page. Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. None of them really stick out.
None of them are high. Like none of them are 4 stars.
Yeah.
James Mons is coming from the furthest distance.
Yeah.
And he's the one with the connection to the program. You have Applegate, who's a local guy. Page and Sampson have visited multiple times, and Valen Erickson's another
Maybe
offensive line.
Samson. I don't know.
Yeah, Sampson probably because Ohio State sniffing around makes him maybe a little bit more interesting. I feel like Mons is going to happen. I just have this irrational confidence on it. I just think that Nebraska has recruited him well, and there's just enough of a connection there that one would play out. So I guess I'd maybe say Mons, but honestly, I mean, I asked the question, but really you could pick any of those 5, and they're all pretty much categorically in the same spot.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, Applegate would probably stir up the most conversation considering he's a local kid, but and Mons might too because of his connection to the program. But yeah.
Have they had a Lincoln player recently on scholarship? I mean, pre Luke Reimer who walked on. Trying to think, they've had this run of in-state guys, and now I'm trying to think if it isn't back towards Josh Banderas, and then when he moved up to here,
Luke Gifford. I mean,
Luke
Isaac
Gifford was after Banderas. Right?
Isaac Gifford, not really full on.
Luke Gifford and DJ Foster would be Gerald Foster.
Gerald Foster, formerly known as DJ Foster.
Yeah, so
I guess that
it's
would be
interesting to see a guy go from DJ to Gerald.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Why? What about it did you appreciate?
I like the name Gerald.
Okay. All right. This is like the name Randy for you?
Yeah, nah, not quite, but I like the name Gerald.
One of these days, I'm just going to have you power rank like a list of 8 names.
Oh, I could do that.
I'm well aware.
It's definitely a summer thing. Yeah, let's do it.
No doubt about it. Should you do a names bracket? You
I
did numbers
could do that.
last year.
I could do that. I was told about for baby names. I was told about like a Tinder for baby names.
Oh no!
So basically, you and your significant other, you swipe on names, and then it finds this list that you both swiped yes on. I was told about this.
Would you use that?
Maybe
just to get other names out there.
Yeah,
because you'd be worried that you're just going to roll back to the same ones.
Yeah, I think I would actually. Yeah,
interesting. All right, well, good luck whenever that is for you.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna take off. The drive is up next. Stick around for angry Twitter conversations.
In every office, there's